3, 2, 1. Yo, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy Nissy coming back with another bullseye of a tutorial here today on the channel. I want to show you guys how I love to use my new favorite plugin, which is the GoodHertz Farday limiter. So let's not waste no time. Let's get on the grind and let's see what gems we could find. Let's go right now.
Every day I get paid, I can't even take a break. Tell the fam we gon' be straight. Tell the bros we gon' be aight. Blow through a band, that shit light. Pop me 2 beans, it's an all-night flight. Pour some walking and spread and I'm high. I don't know how I'ma wake up tomorrow. When I ain't on drugs, I feel hollow. I might just drown in my sorrow. Bucanas drink straight out the bottle. My demons behind me like shadow. They hit my phone, they don't care how I'm doing. Just looking for money to borrow. But y'all, they say Chico lucky, look like I just won the lotto. So I ball, I don't fuck with them at all. I have my back and still.
Okay, so if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also suggest more ideas for videos. If you guys do like these gems I be dropping like crazy, don't forget we have a Patreon page where we go even in depth with them super don't tell nobody, super secret exclusive gems. So the Farday limiter, ever since the year 2020 when it was the coronavirus pandemic, that's when I was really grinding in the studio, That's when I was really starting to get good at engineering. And that same year is when Lil Baby's album came out, My Turn. And one of my songs that really started to inspire me for engineering is called Lowdown. If you ever listen to that song just has a beautiful way of the stabs, specifically the background vocals, the ends. They sounded so like nice and bright, but so solid and everything like that. And for almost 3 years now, I've been kind of obsessed with that sound, that Lil Baby, you know, not his ad-libs, but even on his ad-libs too, like it has this nice clarity to it, you know. So I've been kind of pursuing that sound for almost 3 years, and now the wait is kind of over because I found the GoodHertz Farday limiter. So I love to use this plugin because it's more, for me, it's more than just a limiter. It's kind of like a color box, a tone box. It's a gem that a lot of people don't talk about, and that's why I'm bringing this to you today. So let's look at the controls. First, you have the threshold. That's where, you know, if you want to make it a compressor or a limiter, you can, you know, control it with the threshold, like where does it start. And also you have the output as well, output volume. You have these two very interesting colors, which is these two kind of like colored controls, one of them being the actual color itself, which kind of controls, like it's like a transformer warmth, a transformer growl. And after that you have this you know, this section right here called warmth. And for me, the warmth is kind of like a tilt filter in my opinion. I'm not necessarily sure what it's doing visually, but sonically, this is what it sounds like to me. It sounds like a tilt filter because it's kind of like prioritizing, maybe like if you want to have the higher end, like, you know, kind of react, the limiter react to the higher end more, it kind of does that. Or you can shift it down and kind of have it reacting a little bit more to the low end. So it kind of makes it a very, very versatile compressor to me in my opinion. So that's what it sounds like to me in my head, is a tilt filter on a limiter, which is crazy because a lot of limiters don't give you these controls, and that's why this is such a dope plugin, right? Another thing that you get to control on the limiter is the variable attack and release as well, which most limiters don't let you do. L2 don't let you do that. L1 don't let you do that. You know, a lot of limiters don't let you control the attack and release, and that's really good, especially when you're limiting background vocals to still get that clarity and a little bit of that punch, kind of like the sound I've been chasing for a few years to get those Lil Baby stabs. Go listen to Lil Baby Lowdown. Go listen to that song and you'll hear like, like you'll hear like it just sounds so clear. The background vocals sound so clear. And I'm going to show you guys how I was able to achieve that processing chain. Another great thing that makes the GoodHertz Farday limiter so incredible is it has an internal sidechain. And oh my God, when I seen that, my head just like lit up. And I love plugins like this. For me, like I'm so excited right now, but GoodHertz, they're kind of like the new age sound toys, because them sound toys plugins, they've been out for a long ass time. Like they've been out for like years, like a long time. Like they've been out for so long. And I feel like GoodHertz, for me, GoodHertz is like sound toys where it's all about creativity. It's like new plugins that are just like fun and dope, you know, but still like very, very good for utility. So let's look at the chain. Let's look at the chain. Right now we're paying attention to the stabs right now. You see these backgrounds, and let's just look at what the limiter is doing for me.
Every day I get paid, I can't even take a break. Tell the fam we gon' be straight. Tell the bros we gon' be aight. Blow through a band, that shit light. Pop me 2 beans, it's an all-night flight. Pour some walk and it's spreading, I'm high. I don't know how I'ma wake up tomorrow. When I ain't on drugs, I feel hollow. I might just drown in my sorrow. Bucanas drink straight out the bottle. My demons behind me like shadow. They hit my phone, they don't care how I'm doing. Just looking for money to borrow. But y'all, they say Chico lucky, look like I just won the lotto. So I ball, I don't fuck with them at all. I had my back against the wall, ain't had no one to call.
So as you can pay attention, it's not only what the limiter is doing here, because usually if you try to use like a L1 or most type of limiters, right? The reason why I like using limiters on ad-libs and stabs, as you guys can see a lot, is because of the nature of a limiter. You know, a heavier ratio will just kind of really pancake, hello, good morning, breakfast, Waffle House, the ad-libs. And that's kind of what I want, because the ad-libs are short, quick, like that. So you know, they're kind of really these really type of dynamic, pokey type of pimple type of signals, like type of sound. So I kind of see ad libs kind of like a snare or a kick. And the very first time when my mind started to really run about how limiters are a tonal thing is when I seen it was Andy Wallace. I see Andy Wallace mix the song, and I saw him. He started to like limit a snare, and rather than for it to sound squashed, it really started to sound having a little bit more punch. So that's why I started going to things like limiters. So I really like the Farday Hertz limiter because of the internal sidechain, right? You can do external or you can do internal. And the thing about the internal sidechain, you gotta understand too, is that sometimes when you squash like with an L1 or something like that, you squash your ad lib, it's gonna start to sound a little bit nasty. You know how if you over limit your mix, it just has this really squashed, nasty sound. So that's what I like about the Farday limiter. I get all the benefits of the tone from the limiter, the panini press. You feel me? Like the ironing press, the abruptness. You know, the tone, the grit, the little bit of aggression that I'm getting from my background vocals without the nasty pumping of the low end. You feel me? So let's listen to it really quickly one time. Just listen to it. It kind of feels like the little baby background vocals because it has like this nice brightness to it, and that's also coming from me using the color as well. So for me personally, when I put it on 0 color, it kind of gives me this bright, quick limiter sound, which is what I'm looking for. I get to not only do the limiting, but I also get to adjust the kind of like the tonal characteristics. Like it's kind of like if I took a picture, but now I'm on Photoshop kind of adjusting the brightness, you know, like the contrast and everything like that. So that's how I see this limiter. It's really like a color palette for me to work on my background vocals, because sometimes I want my ends to be dark, sometimes I want my ends to be bright, but I don't want to have to do more EQ. So even before I hit the actual limiter, I was doing a little bit of SSL, E channel. So let's look at that. Let's look at the whole, little baby type of background vocal stabs chain real fast. Let's look.
Waste every day I get paid, I can't even take a break. Tell the fam we gon' be straight. Tell the bros we gon' be aight. Blow through a band, that shit light. Pop me 2 beans, it's an all night flight. Pour some walk and it's spreading, I'm high. I don't know how I'ma wake up tomorrow. When I ain't on drugs, I feel hollow. I might just drown in my sorrow. Bucanas drink straight out the bottle. My demons behind me like shadow. They hit my phone, they don't care how I'm doing. Just looking for money to borrow. But y'all, they say Chico lucky, look like I just won the lotto. So I ball, I don't fuck with them at all. I had my back against the wall, ain't had no one to call. Waste every day I get paid, I can't even take a break. Tell the fam we gon' be straight. Tell the bros we gon' be aight. Blow through a band, that shit light. Pop me 2 beans, it's an all night flight. Pour some walk and it's spreading, I'm high. I don't know how I'ma wake up tomorrow. When I ain't on drugs, I feel hollow. I might just drown in my sorrow. Bucanas.
And hey, if you ever listen to Little Baby, you know what I'm talking about. Even the song Hey, like you will hear like his stabs are bright. And I've been trying to figure that out for three goddamn years, no cap. And this plugin finally helped me figure it out, because now I have a limiter. I'm still getting the tone, the squash tone, but I'm also being able to change, kind of like also the way the limiter reacts sometimes too. When I like to use the warmth, sometimes I like to be like, okay, look at less of the low end, right? So I can get even more cleaner limiting. And also, when it comes to the attack and release, it's not like a regular attack and release, It's kind of like, I don't know what they call it, limitless or something like that. It's not like in milliseconds or nothing like that. I guess it's kind of dependent on the warmth and a combination of everything. So it's just really musical EQ. Another thing I like to use the Farday Hertz limiter is on my parallel compression. So I don't even use the actual compressor to, to do like a parallel I use parallel limiting. I like parallel limiting because I know with the limiting, it's kind of like a trash compactor. It's kind of like, you know, when you go to like one of those nasty little junkyards with the pit bulls trying to bite somebody, but they always have one of those big like car crusher type of things, you know, type of situation. So I'm just really crushing my vocals using a little bit of this parallel limiting. Also, you know, I'm playing around with a little bit of the color, and I like to use a little bit of the oversampling, which is another fantastic feature on this limiter. It gives you a little bit of oversampling, just makes it sound so clean and mainstream and so dense and just everything is great. So let's listen to it.
Waste every day I get paid, I can't even take a break. Tell the fan we gon' be straight. Tell the bros we gon' be aight. Blow through a band, that shit light. Pop me 2 beans, it's an all-night flight. Pour some walking and spreading, I'm high. I don't know how I'ma wake up tomorrow. When I ain't on drugs, I feel hollow. I might just drown in my sorrow. Bucanas drink straight out the bottle. My demons behind me like shadow. They hit my phone, they don't care how I'm doing. Just looking for money to borrow. Fuck y'all, they say Chico lucky, look like I just won the lotto. So I ball, I don't fuck with them at all. I had my back against the wall, ain't had no one to call, my brothers. Waste every day I get paid, I can't even take a break. Tell the fan we gon' be straight. Tell the bros we gon' be aight. Blow through a band, that shit light. Pop me 2 beans, it's an all-night flight. Pour some walking and spreading, I'm high. I don't know how I'ma wake up tomorrow. When I ain't on drugs, I feel hollow. I might just drown in my sorrow. Bucanas drink straight out the bottle. My demons behind me like shadow. They hit my phone, they don't care how I'm doing. Just looking for money to borrow. Fuck y'all, they say
Another great way that I like to use this Farday Hertz limiter is on that parallel limiting crushing. Now you kind of hear a little bit of clarity, and you usually never get that from a limiter. Usually when you start hitting limiters hard, you start to get some dullness, some lifelessness. So I like to use this to get a little vocal clarity, you know, pushing just a little bit of that color, a little bit of that transformer sound that I'm liking a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much how I like to use the Farday limiter. Sometimes I'll put it on my master fader, kind of like on this song, just to use it as like a saturator too. So it's very versatile, you know, parallel compression, parallel saturation, you know, controlling the ends. I generally don't use limiting on my lead vocal. I really just don't do that because I still want a lot of the dynamics. But if you want to do a little bit of limiting on the actual lead vocal, okay, cool. You can still have the limiter and just, you know, adjust the attack so it's a little bit slower, so you still keeping your transients, all your punch and everything like that. So that's pretty much the end of the video that I have here today. And I just want to say thank you very much for being a great part of my YouTube family. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also know we got the Patreon. You know where to go, the Patreon for the gems. So if you guys, you know, do like this, drop more video suggestions. Shout out to GoodHertz for making the dope ass plugins. And I will be making a course out of all the GoodHertz plugins, and I'll breaking down all of them, even more detailed, full mix breakdown, 808 kick, all that stuff like that. So that will come soon, but I'm gonna just be dropping the videos about all their plugins because their plugins is raw as hell. It's like the new wave sound toys, like how I said. You feel me? We know sound toys classic, but their plugins are dope. Their plugins are dope. So shout out to GoodHertz because they so underrated and like nobody talks about GoodHertz. Like you go on YouTube, nobody's talking about GoodHertz. So I was the first one to bring it to y'all. Just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. Peace.